Welcome back. Dana Whitelaw from the High Desert Museum is joining me, and you guys have a ton of things going on there. Kids are just getting out of school, parents are already going crazy. What should they bring them out to do?
We are the place to come, for sure. Our kids camps start this week, and so that'll run for 10 weeks. But our real premier summer program is the Raptors of the Desert Sky flight demonstration. And it's a beautiful program. We hike our visitors out to the northern part of the acreage that the museum sits on. And the idea is to bring the birds into their natural habitat. Instead of bringing the birds into the human habitat, we're bringing the humans to them. And every day the show is a little bit different. It can be windy, which can change the flight patterns of the birds like it is today. And there can be little prey species that wander through the program.
Oh my
there
gosh.
can be other raptors that come in. It's a really dynamic program, really beautiful.
And so when you guys bring people out, is it like a hush-hush thing? Like, do people have to be quiet and watch them? Or what kind of an experience is it really for them?
Well, we encourage people to think about it like they're out on a hike. So they can sit down and watch the birds, and they can ask questions during it. Our trainers are there to help explain how the birds are interacting with them and how they are conditioned to stay in this particular habitat. So it's pretty, it's very relaxed, actually.
And so when people come out, what do they expect when they go out there? Because there's a couple different kinds of birds, right, that you guys have out there. It's not just one species?
It's not one species. We run about 5 species every day, including a turkey vulture, barn owl, Swainson hawk, Harris's hawk, and it can be a number of different
little visitor on my window.
It could be the prey species coming through the program. And so each of those has a different flight pattern, and so visitors are encouraged to really notice how the different shapes of the bird's bodies vary, length of the tail, length of the legs, shape of the wing, and so they can learn to identify the birds when they do see them out on a hike and out in nature as well.
Do the older visitors like it just as much as maybe the little young kids who get to see these birds up close and personal?
You know, it is a program for all ages. The birds come extremely close, right over the heads.
What? They do?
It's really pretty incredible. And so I always encourage the visitors to, your first instinct is to sort of duck and, hide your head, but to really embrace that moment and keep your eyes open and feel that rush of wind that comes over you. I mean, these are apex predators of the high desert and of our environment. So to have that close encounter with a predator is pretty incredible and very safe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you keep saying predator over and over, and it's making me think maybe I don't want a predator coming toward my face, but it's a safe experience.
Very safe, and the birds, they come very close, but they see the audience as shrubs and grass, and they see exactly where they're going. I mean, these are finely tuned hunters, predators, but know exactly where they're going, and incredible flyers. Raptors are all defined by their incredible flight adaptations. So they just, scream right over the people's heads. And we do encourage visitors to have their kids off their shoulders. That's a little bit too close in the flight path, so down on the ground is better. But all ages, really, and from the real bird nerds to people who really don't know that much about raptors.
I like that you just call it a bird nerd, because I was going to say, you seem very passionate. I wouldn't have called you that.
But no, I am the self-described bird nerd, for sure.
So when did you start really, caring about these animals so much that you wanted to have a profession with it and watching them every day?
The people that are involved in the program are all biologists, and some of them come from working with birds in captivity and rehab facilities, or more field biologists and wildlife biology. So that's my background, and all the narrators of the program have a very specific wildlife biology background, and that lends itself to the narration that, and noticing all the nuances that are happening as the birds fly, and bringing in comparisons, looking at the habitat and how the species are partitioning their habitat and flying in different ways.
So it's just kind of a visual experience, but also you learn a lot because narrators such as yourself are out there explaining kind of what's going on, those kind of things?
Exactly. I would say it's an exceptional visual experience because you're so close to these species, and you're never that close unless you are a wildlife biologist and spending that much time out in nature. But there's constant information and in real time as the birds are flying and looking at things, and the biologist can interpret if there's another turkey vulture, a wild turkey vulture flying over, that our turkey vulture will cock an eye up to the sky and probably sit tight for a minute before he takes his next flight.
Is there certain reasons that most of these animals are with the High Desert Museum? Is it, birds who were injured before, or like, why are they there?
There are many different reasons why they end up at the museum, but primarily it's because they can't be released to the wild. And so several of them are bred in captivity and therefore reliant on humans for their care and feeding. A few of them were injured in the wild. For example, our Swainson's hawk is blind in one eye. Oh. And so that's actually an interesting point of interpretation while he's flying, because he'll look a little bit differently, and so that's interpreted during the program as well.
And you guys have other programs as well coming up. I know you said something about dinosaurs, which is going to catch the ear of any child.
And family members alike will have a great experience at our dinosaur exhibit this summer. It's called Be the Dinosaur, Life in the Cretaceous. It opens June 29th and will run for the rest of the summer. Lots of visual simulations of what it was actually like to live during the Cretaceous period, and have predator and prey species and plants and animals all around you.
That sounds so cool. We'll have to go out and check it out and visit back with you guys as soon as we can.
I hope so.
Well, Dana, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we will be right back.